We are recording. Hey, OGI family, how's it going out there today? How you feeling? It's been a weird, it's been a weird 30 years, but yesterday, the Saturday the 13th, July 13th, was an unusual moment of sorts in our company, in our country. I don't talk politics, but this is more about history and interpersonal relationships within the culture. And so that is the context in which I will speak about it. I'll start the audio of the podcast here in a moment, but just wanted to get this kicked off. And presidential assassinations and presidential assassination attempts and plots are ubiquitous. The existence of such a thing, the events of yesterday in Pennsylvania, are not new. This is not some new cultural thing, but the mechanics of what happened yesterday are the former president and current candidate for president of the United States was shot in the head. There a couple of millimeters here or there and there, but by the grace of God goes everybody in the country, and who knows what in the world this could have led to. And if you're downplaying this as an event, then I suggest you simply read a little history and what could happen. And I don't really have too much more to say to lead into this without my words, because I want to be careful. I want to make sure that I say what I want to say, what I intend to say, and get the message across that I intend to get across without ad-libbing too much. So we will go ahead and begin the recording of OGI Podcast 4, and I'm going to call this Now What? The attempted assassination of Donald J. Trump. Now what? What the heck are we supposed to do now? What do we think? What do we feel now? Regards and good wishes, people of the world. Abraham Lincoln, James Garfield, William McKinley, Theodore Roosevelt, John F. Kennedy, Ronald Reagan, Donald J. Trump. That's it. That's the list. Let's get into it, shall we?
4, 3, 2, 1.
Lift off and the clock has started.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good day to you. To all of you, and I hope, as always, this message finds you truly well and joyful, and that you are spending some time in deep introspection. Thanks for joining me here on OGI. I am your host, Scott Schroeder, always flesh and blood, never AI generated. And I am grateful for a little bit of your valuable time, and your active support helps the show survive and advance. Wherever you're consuming this, please do all the things, all the likey, subscribey, ratey, reviewy things that the algorithm demands. The aforementioned list with which I led contains sitting or former U.S. presidents who were shot by would-be assassins, a group to which 3 new generations, depending on how you may count them, are now eyewitnesses. Virtually every president is the target of rage, mental illness, and ideological malevolence, most of which the world is never made aware. It is a dreadful history to witness one shot in front of our eyes. I was 11 years old when the footage of Ronald Reagan being shot was rolled over and over in front of my eyes, and that event is still seared into my consciousness. It's difficult to process utter disregard for life, and further still, to wrap your head around the kind of delusion and psychosis that would drive someone to an act of violence that has the potential to alter the course of human events and disastrously affect the lives of millions. Lest you think that's an overstatement, I suggest you familiarize yourself with Gavrilo Princip, Franz Ferdinand, and the millions of lives lost to World War I. So where are we today? Just a few hours removed from a former president and current leading presidential candidate being the slight turn of his head away from being the next JFK, head exploded by an assassin's bullet for all the world to see. Where are we mentally? I suggest we use this moment to pause and reset and recognize our collective conscience. Understand what has been done to us as a people, not by this awful act, but by those who wield power bestowed by us, those same people. We, as parents, leaders, mentors, teachers, clergy, and citizens, have shrugged off our responsibility for far too long. We have sacrificed the future on the altar of distraction. It's time to be present in our own lives and those of our friends and families, and it's time to be aware of the real world around us, and it's time to be active in the shaping of our communities. The world only changes for the better when engagement with honesty and morality is engendered within the walls of each of our homes. That begins with unconditional love for truth and each other. Hate and violence are the tools of villains, but love is undefeated. None of this is thought fodder for the rumination of a deranged lunatic or brainwashed revolutionary. They are well past reason. This is directly in the lap of those who utilize their platforms of power to deliver a nonstop narrative of hate, division, and provocation. And it is on us. I cannot believe that we are so dim as a culture that we can't or won't see it. How are otherwise functioning people still swayed by what is plainly dishonest at its most benign and the calculated radiation of malevolence and antipathy at its worst? How do we still fall for this? What is this event we all witnessed? Is this act of murderous rage a product of the violent death throes of a psychotic and privileged generation of self-involved soft revolutionaries? Those who learned their evil ideology in the sheltered environs of elite academia and spent decades fomenting turmoil and violence with clean hands from behind their consequence-free guarded gates? Is this a signal of a World War I type tectonic shift from the clutches of the dying aristocracy? Is this a wake-up call to remind decent people to refocus on common and proper values? Is this, God forbid, a catalyst for deeper division and strife? Or is this nothing at all? Is this assassination attempt a blip on the radar of awareness, soon to be lost in the static noise of 10,000 meaningless things? Please put your phones down and rally around what's real, people. The puppeteering of division and fear and hatred needs to stop. That's enough to ponder for now. OGI can be found on I do a dedication. I'll dedicate this episode to the close protection members of the Secret Service. OGI can be found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Riverside.fm, Podbean, and everywhere else in the podcast universe. Episodes and content will also be posted on IG, Facebook, and YouTube. Please subscribe, rate, and review. Your active support is critical. And as you go forth today, remember that life is all about trial and error. Try to do better than yesterday. Live, laugh, and love, people. Live, laugh, and love. Be mindful, be fit, be authentic. If that's all you have, today will be a good day. Peace out, homies, and see y'all next time. That's it. That's all I got for that. We got to be real careful going forward. We're playing games that we can't win. And they're not games of our making. Embrace one another. Love one another, as difficult as that may be at times. And get together and talk about what you share, your common values and your common goals. And those tend to be the same universally for us all around this world. And go forward with that brand of reason and a different brand of tolerance than what's been taught, what's been inculcated into the schools and the culture for the last 30 years or so. Really for the last 100 plus years, but on speed for the last, really hardcore on speed for the last 10 years-ish. The brand of the words have meaning. And tolerance means understanding that everyone in the world is not like you. That doesn't mean you like it or espouse it or agree with it. It just is. And if you can't realize that, then life is going to be, well, it's going to be difficult and violent. And that's really no way to live when you have a choice. Be good to each other, y'all. I'll see you.